Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking some supposedly Neolithic characters. Si is today's character. And here I have three versions of Si presenting to you as everything that since this month, per our request of our audience, that we want to see traditional Chinese. So just to make clear, simplified Chinese probably happened in 1958. It's the communist government's effort to democratize literacy level, to increase the literacy level. So as you can see here in this example, that traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese looks simplified here, and also skip this dot in there. Okay, this character is supposedly based on the script rendering, which is from the Qin Shi Huang, when Chinese language was unified by the first emperor in China's long, string serial dynasties through thousands of years. So Qin Shi Huang is the first emperor who standardized not only language, written forms, but many other units of measurements and things like that. So you can see the three versions here. The traditional would be through the, like this is the script, like 2000 years ago recorded in a dictionary back then. And this through the natural, well, I guess it's a cultural or natural evolution of the language that it evolved into this shape, because this cone shape like this is hard to write. And so over time, people simply by, whoever is the copywriters who literally copy and write, hand write these things with the ink-soaked brushes. Back then, you can imagine how difficult that is to draw things so perfectly well, right? So things got simplified. So our traditional Chinese, that's on the long lineage of how Chinese evolve over time to cater to the human's writing capacity, evolved like this. Anyways, when we look at this 2000 years ago's record, it makes more sense because it's symmetrical, exactly the same structure repeated twice. That's even simpler than the traditional Chinese that came later, right? This, as I said, is to adapt to human writing capacity. Most of Chinese are right-handed. So they write things in a certain sequence of orders and get rid of any sort of curvatures. And that's hard to render. Like, imagine how difficult it is to draw everything of them. And for the ancient copywriters whose job is to copy things correctly over time, that would be very tedious to draw everything perfectly out, right? So writing them in this more straightforward, streamlined lines, street corners, street lines, that would be easier to write. So that's why this may look more complicated, but this is easier to write. Okay, get back to this root. That's how we're going, or what we're going to unpack. Si is made of the two exact same elements that's made of the spools of thread, two of them connected by a continuous string. And then the bottom, it looks the root of the tree symbol, right? And this root of a tree can symbolize where the fabric came from or where the strings came from, because the strings here are connected through the spools of thread, right? So the thread, then the source of the thread came from plant-based. But we know back then, before Industrial Revolution, everything is organic and or natural form. So this looks like it's plant-based. But we know silk came from silkworm, right? Or wool comes from lamb. So definitely there are animal products, type of fibers as well. And two of them simply means multitudes, more such fabric as ever. Okay, and the second version of that is it's not only the source, but it also shows the end product. That's like a draping fabric. So thread is one dimensional, fabric is two dimensional when the warp and weft woven together. So it has two possibilities to create this icon that's related to textile. Two of them because multitudes because to symbolize silk because the silk is considered long fiber, long form fiber. Unlike cotton, it comes from cotton balls, right? It has a limited length. Or wool comes from the lamb's fur and it has a limited length. Silk is spun. It's like a spinneret, almost like a contemporary um, chemical industry process that's spinning polyester, artificial fiber. That's a spinneret, spinning it out, continuous long thread. So we use double of such thread to mean it's extra long thread. So that's silk. Okay, several expressions. 丝绸之路 is a Chinese fixed way to express Silk Road. As you can see, we use four characters to express two words in English. That's not often because most often Chinese is shorter than the English. But here we kind of have our own filler words in there because we have silk fabric of road instead of silk road. The reason why is Chinese like to keep four character formation to almost give it a sense of formality. That's something you need to take more serious than two character combinations. And we especially add this zhi, which is nothing but a connector of A and B, two things. One is silk, one is road. And we add this zhi in the middle to make it sound more classical Chinese. And also to make it into four Chinese set phrase. So instead of three, right, 丝绸路 could mean the same thing, but we add this almost like a filler word in English, but it functions as to signify, okay, when you hear that, that's equivalent of English capitalized of a set phrase of Silk Road, cap as cap R type of treatment. But here we use the zhi to signify that's the particular trade route that we're talking about. Okay, 情丝, 情丝. I intentionally put the two right next to each other to show you something sound exactly the same, but is almost look the same as well, except that the qing got an extra emotion marker, which is heart symbol simplified, to mean it's the thread of feelings. So it's mostly referred to romantic rumination. It's a continuation of chain of thoughts that's non-stoppable. That's, somebody who is kind of overthinking about your emotions, about your feelings toward another. Okay, 青丝. This qing then means black and black thread. What is that? It's mostly Chinese people's hair. That black is the default color. That's we also compare this silk, long strand of silk thread to human hair. 丝竹 it's a Chinese way to say Chinese orchestra. We use two materials, silk and zhu, bamboo, to symbolize the two materials that made into Chinese instruments. I happen to have both si and zhu to show you. Okay, hold a minute. Okay, this big thing. The whole time I'm recording, I can hear my instrument sound box is making sound. So this is a guzheng. It got 21 strings and it make beautiful sound. Okay. In ancient times, before we have industrial material, I checked that the silk here actually is the material that made the strings on these instruments. We have both 古琴 or 古筝, like a different number of strings on them, but it's like a wooden board, have strings on top of them. I guess throughout the world, there are different instruments that's similar structure to make sound. The Chinese solution is to use silk thread. Silk thread specially treated, it's painstakingly processed. That I don't know much of the detail, but I can imagine. Ancient times, the thread, the things that we can get hand of that's made of natural material will mostly come from silk because it's long enough and strong enough. Okay, 竹 I have. Ta-da! Okay, this is shakuhachi. It's not Chinese music instrument per se, but somebody said shakuhachi, this Japanese instrument, came from originated from China and is made of bamboo. Not surprisingly, I mean, bamboo as a common material and it's readily available and can be used as an instrument. And so that's Chinese representing the whole orchestra instruments with si and zhu. And you can kind of imagine the sound of them from silk, from bamboo would sound nice, kind of meditative, right? It gives you that natural connected to the earth, to your environment kind of sense. Okay. 丝滑, we use silk plus 滑, sliding to create a sense of it's silky smooth. So instead of describing the texture of smooth to tell you what that is, we tell you the behavior, the sliding. It's easy to slide on, and I give you the smooth texture. All right, so here is some picture of random Beijing silk fabric store that you can see a variety of silk, and they all look glamorous, silky, and that's long been the silk trade secret of ancient Chinese culture. And here we go. 丝. Thank you for your time.